So you want to buy a house in Canada. Before you get excited, answer one question. Do you know what actually kills new homeowners? It's not the mortgage. It's not even the down payment. It's something almost nobody mentions until it's too late. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is. The average home in Canada right now costs $696,000. In Toronto, you'd need almost $200,000 a year just to qualify for an average home. Most households there earn under $130,000. That's not a gap. That's a canyon. But here's the twist. Prices actually dropped nearly 26% from their 2022 peak. So why does buying still feel impossible? Stick around. The answer isn't the price. It's everything hiding behind it. Let's kill the biggest myth first. You need 20% down. Wrong. You only need 5% sounds like good news, right? It isn't. Put down less than 20% and the government forces you to buy something called CMHC insurance. Here's the part that shocks every first-time buyer. That insurance doesn't protect you. It protects the bank. If you default, the insurer pays your lender, not you. You're paying thousands of dollars to protect someone else's money. And this next rule catches even accountants off guard. The smaller your down payment, the bigger that bill gets. Put down 25% and the premium disappears completely. Put down 10% and you're paying around 3% of your mortgage. Put down the bare minimum of 5% and the premium jumps to 4%. Roughly $19,000 on an average home, quietly added to your loan, quietly earning interest for the next 25 years. Nobody hands you that bill separately. It just disappears into the number you'll be paying off for decades. But that's not even the expensive part. Meet the mortgage stress test. A bank can offer you 4.5%, but they legally must check if you'd survive at 6.5%. Fail that imaginary rate, and you don't get the mortgage, no matter how much you actually earn. Here's what that really means. A family that qualifies for $820,000 at their real rate might get approved for only $620,000 under the stress test. Same income, same job, $200,000 less house. Almost nobody sees this coming until they're sitting across a desk, watching their dreams shrink in real time. Now here's where it gets worse. Say you clear all of that. Down payment saved. Stress test passed. You're finally getting the keys. That's when the real trap opens. Picture Amir, a first-time buyer in Toronto. He budgeted for his mortgage. He budgeted for his down payment. What he didn't budget for was land transfer tax, a tax almost nobody explains properly. In Toronto, you pay it twice, once to the province, once to the city. On a $1 million home, that's $33,000 due in cash before he even moved in. Buy the same house one postal code outside Toronto, and the bill is cut in half. Amir didn't know that. He found out 3 weeks before closing, sitting across from his lawyer, staring at a number he didn't have. The government tells you the price. Nobody tells you the cost. Add legal fees, inspection, appraisal, and yes, in Ontario, sales tax on your mortgage insurance itself, paid in cash, on closing day, unable to be rolled into anything. In plain English, the smaller your down payment, the more hidden fees stack against you at the worst possible time. There are ways around some of this, if you know where to look. Government programs let first-time buyers shelter up to $40,000 tax-free for a down payment, borrow up to $60,000 from their own RRSP, and claim a rebate worth up to $50,000 on new-build homes. Stack all three, and the math changes completely. Miss all three, because nobody told you they existed, and you're paying full price for a system designed to help you. But surviving closing day isn't the finish line. It's the starting gun. Because a house doesn't stop costing you the moment you sign. Property tax, insurance, heating, and the cost nobody puts in any brochure, maintenance. Planners suggest budgeting up to 3% of your home's value every year for repairs. Up to $20,000 annually that doesn't arrive as a bill. It arrives as an emergency, usually the week you least expect it. Think a condo protects you from this? Meet David. He bought a condo specifically to avoid maintenance headaches. 2 years in, his building's board announced a special assessment to fix a failing parking garage. One-time bill, $14,000, due within 90 days, whether he liked it or not. Owning a condo doesn't mean owning less risk. It means owning a fraction of someone else's risk, decided by a board he never met. And this next fee is the one that pushes many buyers over the edge, years after they thought they were finally safe. Meet Priya. She bought in 2021, when rates sat near 1.5%. Comfortable payments. A budget that finally worked. Then her 5-year term ended in 2026, and the renewal letter arrived in the mail like any other envelope. Except it wasn't. Her rate didn't renew at 1.5%. It renewed above 5%. Her monthly payment jumped by hundreds of dollars overnight, on the exact same house, with zero room to negotiate, because her lender held all the leverage the moment that letter landed. She's not alone. The Bank of Canada estimates nearly 1 in 10 Toronto homeowners renewing in 2027 may not even qualify to refinance their own home. Not because they did anything wrong, just because of when their 5 years happened to end. Sound familiar? It should. This happened before. Rewind to 1989. Toronto prices had nearly doubled in a few years. Everyone believed prices only go up. Then rates spiked. Prices crashed 25%. It took almost a decade to recover. An entire generation bought at the top and spent years owing more than their home was worth. History doesn't repeat exactly, but it rhymes loudly enough to listen. And if history teaches us anything, it's that blaming a single villain is rarely enough. Which brings us to one of the biggest myths in Canadian housing. Everyone blames foreign buyers for high prices. But before Canada banned them, foreign buyers made up just over 1% of sales in BC. The ban has stood for years. Prices still rose over 20% anyway. So what's actually driving prices? Supply. Canada needs about $450,000 new homes a year. It's building around $260,000. That gap, not some investor overseas, is the real reason prices refuse to fall. Now picture two families. Same street, same price, same year. Family 1 budgets for the furnace, the renewal, the hidden tax, and builds real equity. Family 2 budgets for the mortgage and nothing else, and 5 years later is wondering how to keep the lights on. Same house, same price, completely different outcome, decided almost entirely by what they knew before they signed. Remember the question we started with? What actually kills new homeowners? It isn't the mortgage. It isn't the down payment. It's underestimating everything that comes after buying the house. So, is buying a home in Canada still worth it? Yes. But the biggest mistake first-time buyers make was never overpaying for the house. It's underestimating the cost of keeping it. And that's the one idea worth remembering long after this video ends.